Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Saturday conversation for this Easter Saturday, the Saturday after Easter, the 23rd of April, I think it is. Can't remember the date these days. A slight cheating Saturday conversation this morning is that I'm going to be in conversation with some poets and with a book by Richard Harries. Richard Harries was the Bishop of Oxford, is now Baron Harris of Pentragarth and sits in the House of Lords. And he's written this wonderful book, Hearing God in Poetry. That may possibly be the wrong way around for you, but not to worry. Which has poetry through all the days of Lent, but also a few poems of Easter. And I wanted to read 3 of those this morning and just reflect on them briefly. So in conversation with Lord Harris and in conversation with the poets, you might say. The first poet is a lady called Anne Griffiths. She lived in Wales, in Powys, in mid-Wales, from 1776 to 1805. She lived what you might call a fairly unremarkable life in a Welsh village, but it was a place that was full of culture and poetry. She was mainly unmarried, known as Anne Thomas, for most of her life. After her parents died, she married a local farmer and became Anne Griffiths. She died in childbirth when she was just 29, really tragically. And her poems were kept, and some letters as well, by a local Welsh minister. They're written in Welsh, and this one has been translated by the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams. It's got 3 verses, 3 stanzas. And the first one seems to be at a time when things are dark for her, when she wasn't really able to see Jesus and to understand him. We saw him standing in the darkness. But the second verse refers to Jesus as the Rose of Sharon. That's a phrase taken from the Song of Songs in the Old Testament, the most beautiful love poem, one of the most beautiful in the world, but certainly the most beautiful in the Bible. She sees the beauty of Christ and how compelling that is. And she uses this word compel twice. Compel can be an unpleasant word. It can mean something coercive somehow. Or compel can be that something is just so enchanting that we are compelled to move toward it. And that's the sort of compulsion that she is talking about in this verse. And the third verse reflects on Christians belonging not only to this world, but also to the realm beyond it. So this is a poem called I Saw Him Standing by Anne Griffiths, translated by Rowan Williams. Under the dark trees, there he stands. There he stands. Shall he not draw my eyes? I thought I knew a little how he compels beyond all things, but now he stands there in the shadows. It will be, oh, such a daybreak, such a bright morning when I shall wake to see him as he is. He's called Rose of Sharon, for his skin is clear, his skin is flushed with blood, his body lovely and exact. How he compels beyond 10,000 rivals. There he stands, my friend, the friend of guilt and helplessness, to steer my hollow body over the sea. The earth is full of masks and fetishes. What is there here for me? Are these like him? Keep company with him, and you will know. No kin, no likeness to those empty eyes. He is a stranger to them all, great Jesus. What is there here for me? I know what I have longed for, him to hold me always. I think that's a wonderful poem. If you want to hear it again, of course, you can rewind and you'll be able to hear it again. It's really remarkable that it was written by a Welsh poet, for a start, from just the turn of the 19th century. The fact that she was a woman, the fact that her poems survived by this sort of miracle of somebody, the minister looking after them, the minister and his wife looked after them and published them, and the fact that we now have that poem from that time, reflecting on Jesus in that way. The second poem is by Piers Plowright. This is the Piers Plowright who lived from 1937 to 2021. He wrote this and sent it to the Lancet, the Roman Catholic newspaper, That's not right, is it? He sent it to the Lancet just before he died in 2021. Again, my Lancet, my tablet muddled up. Piers Plowright worked pretty much for the whole of his life for the BBC, producing plays, writing, doing documentaries, producing drama, all sorts of different ways. And he was often urged to move further up the ranks, but he didn't want to. He wanted to stay in the production end of things. His wife is a remarkable person too, Dr. Po Sim. She's one of the leading specialists in no drama, that Japanese form of drama, in which the pauses and the silences are as important as the words that are spoken. Piers Plowright was a Roman Catholic. He had a very strong faith. He was sent to the tablet. It wasn't the Lancet. He did send it to the tablet. That makes more sense. And I think it's a really interesting poem. You'll catch all the scriptural allusions in what he says. And he's sort of saying that, that God is here. We can touch him and see him through all the things that happen and in our real, normal daily lives. So this is Signs by Piers Plowright. Some sentences leap out of the big black book like friends. Supposing him to be the gardener, did not our hearts burn within us? Come and have breakfast. Divine ends, dressed in the everyday. Gardener, lover, cook, standing in for God. The truth not far away, but near as breath. Fruit, fire, charcoal fish, holding the word. These signs seem right to me. No cloud, no lightning flash, no mystery, no unknown God to puzzle out, but something real, solid, near at hand, and free. Of course, we know that God is both near at hand and also as far away as possible. He's on the tip of our tongue, and yet he's completely unutterable. We cannot say all that there is to be said about God, but we can say something. We can use our human language to speak about God. And poetry is one of the great ways in which we do that. Poetry opens up the spaces between the words so that we can reflect on poetry and allow it to winkle its way into us. To expand our understanding of God and of the world, of our faith and of people round about us. So my third and final poem is from T.S. Eliot. He lived from 1888 to 1965. He was born in St. Louis, I think they call it, in America. He migrated to here, became a British citizen, became very famous for his poetry, especially The Wasteland, and the four quartets. And this poem is an extract from the last part of the four quartets. And somebody has remarked that the quartets, they're called quartets, they're like musical items, and that there is a sort of circularity about it, about the language he uses in each part, but also the way that the themes come back. And so this last section is a sort of summing up of it. You'll hear the wonderful quote from Mother Julian Norwich, all shall be well, and all shall be well, all manner of things shall be well. And T.S. Eliot's four quartets are impregnated with quotes and thoughts and reflections drawn from other poets through the ages. He's talking here about our beginning and our ending. Some of the language is quite dense in Eliot's poetry. It is language that needs to be gone back and read over and sort of chewed over and thought about in different ways. Let's see what we make of this extract from Little Gidding. With the drawing of this love and the voice of this calling, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, unremembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover, is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall, and the children in the apple tree, not known, because not looked for, but heard, half heard, in the stillness between two waves of the sea. Quick now, here, always, a condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. All shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well, when the tongues of flames are infolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one. Well, I hope those 3 Easter poems are helpful. We'll be returning to a more conventional Saturday conversation next Saturday. Tomorrow morning we're streaming the service at 10 o'clock, and of course we're here every day at 10 o'clock with Thought for the Day, morning prayer, Saturday conversation, or the Sunday service. Hope you all have a very wonderful rest of Saturday. Every blessing for the rest of the day and this weekend. Bye bye.